Hi everybody, and welcome to this my first video here on YouTube. If you don't know me, I am evanportraits on Instagram, and today, guess what? We'll be drawing Evan Peters. I have chosen a photo from this latest Golden Globe in January 2023. And I'm just starting out very, very slowly with the eyes. I have sped up this drawing. I think this particular sequence is twice as fast as reality. So that's why I move like I move. Anyway, I just proceed with caution and I just take my time and figure out distances and proportions. And once I got the shape of the eye, I start to line out the brow and a bit of the surrounding shading around the eye. This is just to get a good feel of how, where I am. And this is just to get a feel of where I am and to get some sort of likeness. And then I sort of figure out, distance between eyes. And I use my pencil, my mechanical pencil, to roughly give myself an idea about distance between the eyes. And again, when I draw, I feel like I'm mapping out the face, which means that I constantly weigh the proportions against each other, the distances. So instead of just thinking about I'm drawing an eye, I think about what is the negative space, which is just as important as the shape of the eye. The distance between the eyes, the bridge of the nose, the distance between the pupils, all of that. And it's not about getting accurate measurements. It's more about just helping yourself, guiding yourself a little bit as to where to put the eyes. Everything in a drawing is really much more about hand-eye coordination than anything else. But this way, in measuring, you can get a pretty good idea about proportions and composition. So once again, I've sketched out the other brow, and I start to connect these two shapes with a little bit of shading. And then I figure out the width of the nose. Yeah, and okay, so sorry. I thought I was recording, drawing the nose, but I wasn't. And it's just beginner's, what do you call that? I'm starting out, I'm new, I'm fresh out of the oven. So please bear with me. I promise I will remember to record everything the next time. But if you pay attention, you can see that I also cut some parts out because I don't want it to be too boring to look at. Here I shaped out the mouth, and again I'm going in, making sure that I have the right width of the mouth and that it's the right distance from the nose, it's the right distance from the eyes. Yeah, so I sort of just figure out where the corners of the mouth are, and then I put a little bit of shading on the upper lip, just again to sort of figure out, am I on the right path? Does it look right? So I'm not the type of artist who does everything first, like outlines everything and then shades in afterwards. I want to take it a little bit, I want to be all over the drawing all the time. if that makes sense. Also, it makes it a lot more interesting to draw, I think, when you do that. And now he looks like a 14-year-old teenager who's just gotten his first hairs on his upper lip. Just kidding. There are several times when you draw that you think, oh my god, it doesn't look like anything. This is like the worst drawing ever. But please keep going, because we all feel that when we draw. And trust your instinct, man. Go with it. And yeah, just don't give up. Don't give up. And just go back and forth. And if you feel like everything I'm doing right now is just making it worse, step away from the drawing. Go do something else. And come back and look at it with fresh eyes. That's a big help. It has helped me a lot in my process. And now I am shaping out the contours of the face a little bit. Okay, now I decided I want to draw in those pupils. So I'm doing that, and the iris, and I'm just making it all dark because he has really dark eyes. So, and I don't want to be that detailed. I just want, because it's a sketchbook, right? And my patience isn't like the best. I just want results. Just kidding. No. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm putting down shade. I'm sorry. This is a voiceover that I'm doing afterwards. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here. This is me putting some shading on like the outline of the face, the outer corners of the face. And then I'm sort of figuring out the eyelid up to where the brow and the distance between the end of the brow and the start of his hair, and then figure out the jawline, and oh, there's the neck. Right. So I want to make sure that it looks right. And right now it looks very, very thick, doesn't it? It looks a bit like his neck is too thick, but I remember I went in and I measured with my pencil. It was pretty right. So yeah. Then I just go in and I just work on those shades. Like I do it in sequels. I go in and then I leave them alone and I start drawing something else, and then I come back and I emphasize and I intensify and whatever, or I take away graphite. Yeah, I just work on everything at the same time. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Did you guys see that movie? Oh my god. That really had me thinking. I love that movie. It's really cool. Okay, I'm going in and I'm measuring the width of the neck. And now I'm trying to figure out the position of the ears. Right, we're right about there. And then I just use my gut instinct. And then I use like a tiny piece of paper. This is just like food paper. I don't know what it's called in English. Yeah, so I use that not to smudge the drawing. You know, you can, when you put your hand on top of something you've already drawn, you can like smudge the graphite out, and it's not very nice, and it doesn't really matter because you can always erase it afterwards, but it's really nice to not mess up what you've already drawn. So, and now I'm just filling in hair. I'm doing it very loosely at first, just to get a feel of the shapes of the hair. Instead of looking at hair as individual strands of hair, I think of it as sections and shapes. So I try not to think about it as hair, really, but more as different shapes and textures and sections. Yeah. So, and as you can see, I already, once I have the shape, I start filling in a little bit of shading and a little bit of the dark areas of the hair, and then I sort of make my way to the outline of the hair and the fringe, so to speak, to figure out how tall his forehead is. Yeah. And as you can see, I have sped up the video here because it's just, I'm just laying down lines. And it's pretty trivial, but I thought it would be nice to have it in the video so that you can see the whole process, or like most of it. I'm so sorry I forgot about the nose. I forgot to record that because I know a lot of you have problems with noses when you draw. I promise I will be super attentive the next time I will record drawing a nose. And I will make sure I get everything on the video. Just stay tuned, and I will do that for you, I promise. And so now I am filling out just more and more hair. And as you can see, I'm not really making a lot of details. I'm just, again, dividing it into sections, and some of it is darker, some areas are darker than others, and I just sort of map that out for myself. It's like a rough map of how I want the drawing to be. And the other ear, because he has two, like most of us, so yeah. And again, I'm just, then I'm on the ear, and then I suddenly see like, oh, I think I need to adjust the jaw, which I shouldn't have done because later I will adjust it back. I think at this point, I think I have this idea that I made his face too broad, and I didn't. It's just because when you sit and draw for a while, you get a little blind and you tend to overlook details, and you become fixated on something that isn't really there. And you start to think, oh, well, I made a mistake, or this is the right thing to do. And then this is why I told you in the beginning, I said at the beginning, it's so important to put the drawing down once in a while and come back to it, because you sort of, because you're so caught up in the details, you don't see the bigger picture. And that's why it's important to take breaks. And if you still want to keep drawing, just draw something else. I mean, you can do that. But please leave it alone. Let it breathe. Take a breath. Come back later. And this is also a part of the drawing that I really sped up. Like, I think 4 times the speed or something like that. It's really fast just to, because it's just the butterfly and like the collar of his shirt, and yeah, so it's just quick lines that I use. Oh, and now I have this cotton pad. Would you call it a cotton pad? I don't know what it's called. It's just cotton, and I use it to smudge out the graphite. I actually usually don't do this, but I thought I would do it today because I was afraid that, because I have such poor lighting, I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to see my lines on paper on this video. So I thought I want to like really emphasize, so I did that. But it's really a matter of temperament. I mean, some people like the smudging. I used to love it, and I don't really like it that much anymore. I much more prefer like cross hatching and things like that to make shading. But I don't know, I thought, why not today? So yeah. And okay, now I'm using this paper, I don't know what it's called in English. Paper stub. I don't know what it's called. It's just a tool for smudging. And you can use like a Q-tip or a piece of cotton or yeah, just anything that is. I wouldn't use like what's it called? You can use toilet paper. Most toilet paper is actually pretty soft, but it can't. Don't use paper that is too rough, I want to say. Yeah. The good thing about smudging is if you want the shade to be more saturated, it's really good for that. Especially if you work on paper that has some tooth, which means it has some grain or texture. When you smudge out the shades, it becomes more saturated, softer, and not so grainy. And again, I go back and forth and I emphasize shades, and yeah, sometimes it looks very, very harsh, but that's just because I'm only seeing this bit. You guys, when you watch this video, you get to see the whole drawing as it is. And when I'm drawing, I'm so much in the details. So for instance, when I'm drawing the nose, I'm only looking at the nose. So, and then when I step away from the drawing, I'm like, okay, well, I need to work on the shading around the mouth or the hair or the eyes, you know. And just like that, I'm up in the hair again, and because I noticed, he's got more hair than that. And so I work on that, you know, adding more shade. And you can use cross-hatching here. I mean, you don't have to use, you don't have to draw again, you don't have to draw every strand of hair. You just need to have some sort of illusion that it's hair. So you make some strands and then you blend out and you make a little more strands, and you know, just regard it as sections of hair. Yeah, and I am realizing that I made his lower lip a little too thin. I think here I am putting some highlight and emphasizing that highlight just above the upper lip. And yeah, just really going back and forth. That's how I like to draw. You know, I'm not a copy machine, photo copy machine. I can't go from top to bottom and just do everything like that, like put in all the details. But it's a matter of mind, I think, a matter of temperament. I just like to be all over. Yeah. That's just who I am. And then I add some stubbles and some more shading and to enhance the cheekbone. And then I go down the neck and I work on emphasizing those shadows and notice that when I do those soft shadings, I hold my grip on the pencil is higher, right? Because I want it to be softer and more spread out. And this is a good technique to use. And I know his Adam's apple looks very, very light compared to the surroundings, but it is kind of light. So, and when you're drawing, you're allowed to overdo things a little bit to illustrate what you want to bring forth in the drawing. And now I just go over the butterfly, and I also sped up this part of the video very much just because it gets boring. So, but I still want you to see the process, so I just, again, just go over everything with graphite and then more, and I just build it up and try and keep the shape. And this is the crease, or like the fold of the butterfly. I want to emphasize that, so I go in and I just give that a lot of graphite, and then I work around that and look for highlights, or like there's not many highlights because it's a black butterfly, but it's a matte sort of it's not silk, for instance, or satin, so it's very matte, but you can still see that there are highlights some places. So, and you can just emphasize those to make it more realistic. And I try and strengthen that shade around the fold and then go around it. Again, divide into sections, figure out, oh, there's a part here that's a little lighter. I just want to work around that. And then I go in with this smudging tool again, just to lay down the graphite into the grains of the paper, because this makes this emphasizes the fact that the butterfly is soft looking and it has this matte feel to it. The fabric is matte and soft. And then I go around with my pencil again to make the lines look a little better and more sharp. Just move it around, go around, just like that. Fiddle and fiddle and fiddle and fiddle. Oh yeah, and then it's just, the jacket. The jacket, I don't, at this point I just wanted it to be over. I'm kidding. No, what I mean is I just wanted to just fill it out and get it over with. I didn't really want to look for details because it's just the outer parts of the drawing, and it's not as important, not in this drawing anyway. Sometimes a shirt or a sweater can be important, like a pattern or the knitting or whatever, but in this case I was like, I just need to fill it up with dark graphite, and I could have used a softer pencil here. That would have been a lot more time consuming. That would have saved me more time. This is much more time consuming because I'm using a 0.5 mechanical pencil, and why am I doing that? That was so stupid. I guess I just wanted to stay with one pencil, if you know what I mean. And then again, I go in and I smudge just to deepen the color. And then I go in again, and because I noticed, I needed to make some adjustments around the eyes. The highlight, for instance, there on the right, his left eye, I needed to adjust that. So I went in with my precision eraser from Tombow, and here is the finished drawing. Up close, so you can see all my mistakes, and if you look at it and have the photo next to it, you can see, well, I can see all the flaws and all the no-nos and all the, his left eye, the right eye, could have been put down a millimeter or two. So it's not perfect, but I still think it has some likeness and I really like it. So yeah, this is the result. I hope you like it. And please come back for more. I will post more videos in the future, I promise. Evan Peters, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. And please remember to subscribe. I would love to hang out with you guys here on YouTube. Yeah. Take care. Till next time, okay? See you around. Bye.